opinion. You know it.
No, I don't know. Bring it up. I'm interested. I want to know.
I'll bring it up right now.
Let's
no
go.
problem. You want to do this? You want to play this game? I will play this game.
I don't want to play a game. I want to have a conversation.
Yeah. And I am having a conversation because you guys act like, bro, I literally broke it down for a whole hour and a half yesterday. So I know.
Doesn't mean you're right. By the way, you spending an hour and a half doesn't mean you're right.
I watched a lot of your content, but I didn't watch that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. I'm not asking you to watch all my content.
There's also a little bit of Van Dijk in that. You know, Van Dijk, are you going to feature Van Dijk? You know, when Van Dijk was sort of like doing that. Do you remember? Is that in your analysis?
Well, Terry, you're losing subscribers, Terry, because no one wants to see you shake your ass. Share the screen.
I don't lose subscribers. I grow annually by 35%. I'm just putting it out there.
Can you share the screen, please, Mr. Grow annually? Share the screen.
There you
go. Okay. Now, I wish I could show you where the like I can show my mouse. Draw a whole circle around Anthony Taylor.
We can see your mouse.
Okay, let me more. You have to let me talk because it's still image. There is no point. I will literally just speak for 5 hours after. Just let me tell you what happens wrong over here, okay?
So don't be upset. I just told you we can see your mouse.
There is a hole around Anthony Taylor. Yes. That hole exists because Gravenberg, my DM. So okay, Mo, just to confirm, you can see the mouse, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Gravenberg, my DM, instead of being in this position where he's supposed to be, where he was all last season, now has the license to roam forward. So he is completely unnecessary pressing Enzo Fernandez over there, which therefore creates the space. Now we're talking about Caicedo having a fantastic strike, which it was. It was an absolutely unbelievable goal. My issue is McAllister is here, right? No problem. He gets past McAllister. The space, that space where Caicedo is in, all the way until Van Dijk, that empty space has been something that's reoccurring in Liverpool games. This is not a new thing. And that's because of Gravenberg's license to roam forward. If Gravenberg is where he was last season, which is right next to McAllister, right next to Anthony Taylor, the goal doesn't even happen because he's there to cover it. But instead, we are completely needlessly pressing Enzo Fernandez. Now, just to avoid copyright here, let me just move the clip further forward. Now, there is no way Caicedo can run from that area. Fantastic turn on McAllister. I never denied that. From that area to where Joao Pedro is, completely unmarked. Look at Gravenberg's body motion. The way that he's rushing to get back is because of that donut hole we've created in midfield. Okay. It's because of that space we've created in midfield, which has become the biggest problem.
So I get that. Let me just say one thing though, right? So if you, because I've got the goal up in front of me as well. I understand that you don't like that Gravenberg's got that room to roam forward.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. But there is also an element, and this gets discussed a lot with United. Oh, you're getting outnumbered in midfield. Yes, when a centre-back doesn't move up into the midfield like they're instructed to do, we're outnumbered. And in the games where our midfield are not stepping up into that position, we're then getting exploited. So you can blame the tactic, you can blame the player, you can do what I do, which is look at both. In that situation, McAllister makes the mistake. McAllister, what he should do, he's got two players ahead of him. One to the left and he's got one to the right. Whether you watch football your whole life, I've been playing a lot of FIFA recently, and I made this mistake a lot on Legendary, right? If you run at one player like he did, he runs towards not Caicedo, whoever was next to him, I think it was Enzo, runs towards him, and then he's easy to bypass with a 1-2 because he's now stepped forward. If in that moment when they've got the ball ahead of him, if he just takes 2 or 3 steps back, that space is gone. He makes a decision, an individual decision to press at the wrong time, and he gets passed around. Then the space is exploited for 2 reasons. One, half of it's tactical because Gravenberg has gone forward, like you've said. The second reason is because he's pressed. Why am I talking about this? At Manchester United, I mentioned it already, but we'll take a United player that everyone always goes in on, Bruno. If you actually look at Bruno's numbers as a midfielder this year, when it comes to progressing the ball, passing, carrying, it's not too dissimilar from the Enzos, the Declan Rices of this world. His problem is he presses at the wrong time and leaves massive holes behind him. That isn't a tactical issue. It's a player issue. Now, Bruno shouldn't be played in that position because it's not what he's best at. But McAllister and the like are playing in their natural positions. So it isn't a case of the manager's wrong for putting them there. They've made mistakes. And I just feel that when it's come to the Liverpool analysis in the last week, I get that you've now said 80% manager, 20% players. But there are players this season in your team and system. For instance, like Ekitike, who's only just joined the football club, Alisson. I actually think Van Dijk has been pretty good this year, who are playing very, very well indeed. I think something that's going under the radar a little bit is that, and there's reasons for this with Isak as an example. There's reasons for it with Wirtz joining, but Konate is playing like an absolute joke, as an example. I don't think McAllister's been anywhere near his highest levels. Kirkes, I think, has been awful. Considering he's had a pre-season and he's played in England, it's not the same type of excuses and reasonings you would give for an Isak or a Wirtz. I think some of the players are getting a little bit of an easy ride and are getting a little bit are not being criticized like they should be, and it's all going on the manager. Because
who though? Tell me, because I've already criticized players. You said what you do. Okay, you said what Terry Flores does is criticize manager and players. Okay, that's what I've done as well. So what's the problem here?
Well, because I think the balance that you've put on it is too heavily weighted in the direction of your manager. Personally,
okay.
I think
do you watch MasterChef? Have you ever watched MasterChef?
I've watched a few episodes. Yes.
Okay. When they do mystery box challenges, if a chef gets prime rib, lobster, Alaskan king crab, and cooks up a shit dish, versus a chef gets canned sardines and makes a 5-star meal, there is a difference in that. Meaning, if I've given someone the difference, and there is extra bits to blame on Slot compared to Man United. Why? Because we have all the prime ingredients. I've got Alaskan king crab, red lobster, T-bone steak, prime rib, Wagyu beef. I got everything I need. Even my chicken is like elite level. So there is nothing missing in the mystery box. There's nothing missing from the pantry. I have everything I need. Now, that's why Slot, for example, let's say this was Ruben Amorim's Man United, right? And the same scenario happens. You might say 60% Amorim, 40% player. Fair. But the reason why I've got to increase it on Slot is because I've got all these prime ingredients that aren't working with each other. Wirtz was dropped, we still look like shit. Salah was dropped, we still look like shit. Isak was dropped, we still look like shit. So now I've got to ask myself the hard thing question. How is it I've dropped every single problem in this team and I look like ass in every single scenario? So now what?
Well, because a few things. Firstly, there's no one player that's the problem. This is just anyone who's saying that's an idiot. I'm not saying it. On your analogy, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. If somebody's got amazing ingredients, the best ingredients, and somebody's literally got a potato and an egg, they're going to be expecting a lot more from the person with great ingredients.
Thank you.
But yes, however, there's a caveat to this. If they've given that guy a lobster and a chicken that are off and it tastes like shit, what can the chef do? You've got players that are off the boil right now. And I understand we go through these periods where everything's put on the manager. But you know what I find really interesting? And the pundits do this and they don't realize how big a hypocrites they look. One of the biggest ones out there is Roy Keane. He often goes on about, I didn't need a manager to motivate me. I didn't need a manager to make sure that I was motivated to go out there and play. The manager didn't make me perform, as in they didn't make me have good form or bad form. That was about my own individual application, how I handled the pressure, etc. And I think sometimes we spend too much time looking at a manager. Now, I get it if the managers come in like Amorim and there's been zero improvement in the better part of 12 months. I get he's a problem in there. At the same time, even this weekend just gone, we won 2-0. We had 3 or 4 chances in the second half. Simple through balls. We're through on goal. Could have made it 3 or 4 or 5. We didn't do it. I don't blame Amorim for those individual mistakes. That was players rushing and panicking and not handling the pressure. So from my point of view and perspective, I think Slot is getting...
And guess what? Have I went in on Amorim like that? Have I been one of those fans that come on Straight Facts and go in on Amorim like crazy, or have I called out players and Ineos?
Then I would expect
my energy is consistent even for my biggest rival. My energy is the same exact one actually as yours.
Well, I'm not necessarily...
No, because...
Okay, well, I didn't finish, but go on.
Here's the thing. Yesterday I said, if anyone is slot out, get fucked. You should not be slot out. No one should be slot out. Everyone should give Arne Slot the time to figure this out. But at the same time, I can constructively criticize him. So what you did for your own club, I'm doing for my own club. But the reason why Arne Slot is more game than Amorim is he has everything he needs. That's it.
So I'm not saying that you and you're second in the league. So again, there's a huge difference there. I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize him because I've criticized Arne Slot for things that he's got wrong. I'm just talking here more in generals as well, that there seems to be a lot of people just, the manager's got to get it right. The manager's got to get it right. But if individual players were doing their jobs, there's 2 or 3 games recently where if Mo Salah converts fairly good chances, you win games. Just the other day, Salah hasn't been great, but that pass on the outside of his foot to Alexander Isak, I expect Isak to at least hit the target. He didn't do his job there as an example. Right. There are moments, the Galatasaray game, it was 1-0. You work the ball into the box. Your first shot saves. Ekitike should score. Gakpo tries to knee it like he's Alex Pereira when he should control it. It then falls to Wirtz. And again, I ain't blaming blaming Arnie Slot for Wirtz trying a weird back heel when nobody was behind him. I'm not blaming Slot when Wirtz picks a ball up in the box against Chelsea, but he controls it with his shin and it rolls away from him. I don't blame managers for that. I'm not saying you are. I'm not making that claim. I just think far too much has gone towards the manager. And I think that 80%
okay, can I just make a quick
more,
distinction here? Everything that you're saying, I'm in complete agreement with. It's not Slot's fault that Wirtz backheeled it in the box. All this, you're completely correct. My issue here is volume. I said this to Mo pre-game. Mo was like, Hussam said he'd take a 1-0 loss away at Chelsea, but he left out everything I said after that, which is the context. Now, let's go back to that game. Let's say we lost 1-0 to Chelsea, but Liverpool peppered Chelsea's net with Achimpong and Reece James. Sanchez made 3 amazing saves. Do you genuinely believe, having known me for 3 years, that I would sit here and blame Slot? Of course not. If we dominated them, we dominated possession, we created the more dangerous chances. By the way, prime example, Atletico Madrid match reaction. Remember when some fans tried to claim that it was a lucky win? I was like, guys, we had 7 big chances created. We had 7 big chances created compared to Atletico's 1. Dominant performance. So my issue has actually been performances more than results from the beginning of the season.
You created the better chances.
No, we did not.
Okay, let me
Enzo, by the way, hit the post at the end even before Estevao won it.
Let me count. Terrace crossed the ball to Mohamed Salah. He has a tap in. He doesn't. Sabozla, and instead of hitting the player in front of him in the 6 yard, right? It's like that is a block, yes, by Chelsea. But that is normally should actually hit the target.
That's not a clear-cut chance. Now you're clutching.
Sabozlai was clear-cut. Are you mad?
No, Sabozlai was not a clear-cut chance. I know the clear-cut chance.
The cut. Sabozlai
the Kerkez one you said is a clear-cut chance. Correct? Because all Kerkez has to do is make the correct pass. So you're correct.
So hold on. So Sabozlai inside the 18 free to shoot to when the guy in front of him.
He was not free because Caicedo was in front of him and he blocked it.
So that is a clear-cut chance. 100%.
That is not a clear-cut chance. That's not a clear-cut chance. If I'm here and Caicedo's at the TV and I shoot, that's not a clear-cut chance. That's
I don't see the TV, so I don't know.
The TV is here, like a meter in front of me, yani. 2.5 meters.
Are you serious? A meter in front of him? That was supposed to should have hit.
I know the moment you're talking about when Gakpo cut it in and Szoboszlai was running. Yes, Caicedo was in front of him. Literally, that's not a clear-cut chance. The clear-cut chances is that moment, the Isak header, and the Salah chance from Wirtz. Those are the clear-cut chances.
Are you serious? That is, I absolutely think.
How many times was Garnacho in our penalty box? How many times was
That's not Garnacho? A clear-cut chance. That's not a clear-cut chance.
Garnacho was running at
anyway, my point. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're not going to argue over. It's a clear-cut. It's a chance. My point about this is that I think currently what you're doing is that you are a little bit letting some of the top players that you have off the hook. I get what Slot, probably the system is not working, but you are getting chances sometimes. Mohamed Salah is putting the chance on Isak's head. That is a chance. Mohamed Salah shooting away from goal, which normally last season he would have put on target at least 1 or 2 of them. For one reason or the other, Mohamed Salah is from dropped. Right? I don't know what it is. Is it grief? Is it Mohamed Salah is not getting the same amount of touches? You can analyze that. Isak, I'll give him leeway a little bit. However, when you sign a player like that much, he should be doing better than this. He shouldn't be getting one chance. But I said it before, he's not having any support from his teammates. Wirtz, you didn't sign Wirtz and spend that much money for him to backheel it to Salah in the first 10 seconds. I told you that yesterday, that to backheel it to Mohamed Salah in the first 10 seconds and completely disappear after this. McAllister is not performing. Gravenberch is the only one. By the way, I'm just going to say something. I know people make fun of Van Dijk and everything. That goal, maybe 20% on Van Dijk. If he steps up to Van Dijk, Caicedo has a clear pass one-on-one to Malo Gusto, who is running the 18. If you watch the clip, not the still image, literally he was watching for that run from Malo Gusto. Arne Slot, right, is not doing well. But Liverpool fans lately have been trying so much to protect some of the players that you're not actually calling out some of the senior. You need to actually say that Salah needs to step up a little bit. He needs to lead the team. Isak, by the way, is a senior player. He has 3 years in the Premier League. He's 25 years old or 26 years old or something like this. He was a big money signing. He's not 21. And he needs to step up. McAllister needs to step up a little bit. You, on your match reactions, always say, why McAllister is shit today? Okay, that happened 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. And then 1 game you were like, yeah, he's okay. He's not the worst guy on the pitch. He's okay. Now again, it's Chelsea. He wasn't the worst guy, but he wasn't great at all. I think some of the to be honest with you guys, I think yes, Arne Slot criticism.
Maybe you're okay. Don't lie. When you say I'm letting them get away with the hook, even yesterday, what did I say to you? The only two players who should be guaranteed starters in this team is Van Dijk and Gravenberg. Anyone else, drop, rotate, change. I don't care. You want to drop Salah, drop him. You want to drop Wirtz, drop him. You want to drop Isak, drop
Who
any
you gonna
single
play?
player.
Your squad is not that deep. Your squad is not that
You're
deep.
missing the point. So when you say I'm letting the players get away with it, I'm not. I have criticized the players. Thank you. By the way, people in the chat who don't even support Liverpool are actually vouching for me. I have criticized a lot of the players. I've said some players were shit. I've said, Muhammad, please, what are you doing? Like I've cussed players out on the football pitch. I've done that already. Whichever one you want to drop. Like I've even called out Salah, I've called out Wirtz, Isak, everyone. There is no one that I have not called out. Literally not a single person. You want to play Rio Gomoa and Chiesa as the wingers, play them. You want to play Kitika up top, play him. I don't care who we drop. I'm talking from a structural and a style perspective. If that does not change, nothing will change. We will continue to lose games of football. And I have a actual genuine proof, which is Galatasaray, Salah dropped, we look like shit. Chelsea, Wirtz dropped, we look like shit. Isak didn't play in one of the games, we look like it's not one guy's fault. It's not a simple let's drop this guy because this guy's underperforming.
No one said that. I never said that.
It's moments though.
You have to find the concoction.